Rhetoric in Sustainable Development. What is sustainable development? Sustainable development, as defined by the United Nations, is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. Within this sustainable development discourse, an interdisciplinary approach is taken to social, environmental, and economic development, and information is primarily communicated through writing. The audience within the discourse is extremely broad and can range from scientists to policymakers. In the article, Increasing Sustainability of Residential Areas Using Rain Gardens to Improve Pollutant Capture, Biodiversity, and Ecosystem Resilience, the concept of urban rain gardens and their effectiveness are explored. The primary rhetorical appeals are ethos and logos, as the reader is provided with an in-depth scientific evaluation of this sustainable development tactic. In the video, What Are the Planetary Boundaries by Mongabe explains the concept of planetary boundaries and Earth system limits are explored, and viewers are informed on the interconnected nature between climate change, ocean acidification, chemical pollution, biodiversity loss, and so on. The primary rhetoric appeals in the video are logos and pathos as scientific data is presented in order to draw a clear connection between the well-being of our planet and the future of humanity. In the paper, Increasing Sustainability of Residential Areas Using Rain Gardens to Improve Pollutant Capture, Biodiversity, and Ecosystem Resilience, logos is appealed to as the multiple authors draw upon the findings of two separate scientific studies, one that evaluated the effects of flooding and drought tolerance on the physiological response of native plant species recommended for use in rain gardens, and the other that evaluated phosphorus removal in monoculture and polyculture rain garden plantings. The rhetorical appeal of ethos is also used as the authors provide their source of funding, which was the Alabama Agricultural Experiment Station at Auburn University, and the authors also declared no conflict of interest, which states that the funders had no role in the design of the study, collection, analysis, and or interpretation of data. As expected, there is little to no use of pathos in this paper, as it strictly appeals to the reader's logic by providing data and drawing upon scientific conclusions. In the video, What Are Planetary Boundaries by Mongabe explains, logos is appealed to as the video provides both an explanation and visualization for planetary boundaries and why they're so important in relation to both scientific consensus about climate change and sustainable development. In contrast to the paper, the video appeals to pathos as a direct connection is drawn between planetary boundaries and the survival of life on Earth, playing into the emotions of those viewing and forcing them to confront existential thoughts of the future. In contrast to the paper, the video does not establish its credibility within an academic realm, but rather provides more broad information to the average human seeking information on sustainable development. Based on both these pieces of media within the sustainable development discourse community, an appeal to logos is necessary in presenting the scientific consensus on climate change and therefore the need for sustainable development. However, both the paper and the video differ in their use of ethos and pathos. While the paper is intended for those immersed in sustainable development and establishes its credibility as a scholarly article by drawing a conclusion based upon two scientific studies, the video, on the other hand, appeals to pathos and plays into emotions to better persuade a less informed audience as to why exactly sustainable development is so important to our future.